Now, rumour has it that there's a Mobula 6 around here that's been dissing me. He says that my props aren't good enough. Race on! Ah! 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 Oh my word. Might have to do a bit of cheating here. The intensity. The street cred that's about to be lost. Don't mention that bit. It's meant to happen. And that bit. Ah! Don't panic, I'm panicking. Where is he? He's around here somewhere. What happened? Man down. You know, I got the turtle mode. In the net? I'm going to call that a win. I'll call that a win and you call it a goal. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the all-new Emax Tinyhawk 3 Ready to Fly bundle. It comes in this blue hard carry case with a handle, and at the making of this video I don't know how much this is going to cost, so you'll have to check the link in the video description or the pinned comment. And just like previous Tinyhawk RTF bundles, the idea is to have everything you need in this kit to fly FPV, and it's aimed at beginners. They have made some improvements over the previous Ready to Fly bundles, so the transmitter has got proper gimbals, the goggles have a DVR, but more on that later because I want to start off looking at the Quadcopter, which you can buy as a bind and fly on its own. So this is the Tinyhawk 3. It looks very similar to the previous Tinyhawks, only this time we have got a True X frame. It's 76mm. The previous Tinyhawks were stretched. They say that they have improved the durability of this guy. We don't have any lights on it this time. And they've also made it easier to access the components. So it's an F4 flight controller in there with 4-in-1 ESCs, 5 amp, and just some screws to get at it from there. We have got a PH2 connector. They are solid pins. This did surprise me. I thought they would have gone with like a GMB 27 or something like that. But Emax always gives me the answer, well, in the Tinyhawk series, people will have loads of these batteries, so that's the reason that they stick with this connector. It weighs 31 grams. The camera is the Runcam Nano 4. They say that they have improved it in a crash so that the camera doesn't fling forward. However, I have had that happen just once. The VTX is locked when you get it, so to unlock it, it's just a button on the top there when you plug in, and then it's unlocked indefinitely, so you don't have to do that every time. Got a linear antenna out the back there. The motors are a 0802 15,000 kV, and this time it is just a 1S model, so the Tinyhawk 2 was a 2S model, but really I never flew that Model 2S. I found it too powerful and the frame would bend, so I usually fly that model with 1S anyway, so I see why they have done that. I just wish they would have switched the connector up, because at some point you're gonna have to switch the connector, but you know, you can do that yourself if you like. Only comes with the one battery, which is surprising for a ready-to-fly kit. So I'm guessing that it's going to be really tight on their budget and margins if they're only including a single battery, unless that's just what I've received as a pre-released version here. Yep, so 31.3 grams, and then with a battery that is 44.2 grams. There's a big capacitor on the connector to filter out any noise. It does look like the motors are still on a JST connector. You are given a spare set of these Avan propellers, as well as like a little screwdriver, some spare rubber bands, and then you're given this charger here, which can charge 2 batteries, and looks like it can charge a 2S as well. We just have a couple of switches there, so from HV to LiPo, but you can also do 2S. So that's included in the package. You're also given a USB connector. Why is it not USB-C? But anyways, and an Allen key for any maintenance. Onto the transmitter, which is made out of this sort of cheap grey plastic material, but more importantly, we have got proper gimbals rather than the little Xbox pots that you got in previous RTF bundles of the Tinyhawk. I've converted this to mode 1, which is easily done. You have to take all of these screws out of the back here, and then there's a little switch on the circuit board, L and R. You have to flick that. That was easily done, but if you're a beginner, don't worry about modes. It comes as a mode 2 model, stick with that. It comes with a 18650 battery inside, which does charge from the USB port. Unfortunately, it is not USB-C. It also works as a joystick on a computer. The instructions say that this is for an audio interface, but then in brackets it says wired coach. So I think what they mean is it's a mono cable, and it can be used as a buddy box trainer port. And we've got these trims on here. So this is a D8 and D16 transmitter. The instructions tell you how to bind with the model, but it comes pre-bound anyways in D8 mode. These trims here, they actually reset every time you turn the transmitter off. So that's not the best. It'd been better if it saved it. I've got a problem with this transmitter. It isn't centering properly, and I've sent everything over to Emacs and they say, oh, it's an anomaly because no one else is reporting that. But yeah, you can calibrate the sticks through a button sequence, and whatever I do, they do not end up in the center. I'm told that's a quality control issue with this pre-production unit that I've got here. Everything is set up already, so you've got like arming, your modes, lost model alarm, and also flip over after crash, which actually works really well with this new Tinyhawk 3. We have got a lanyard clip there as well, but you're not given one of those in the package. So if you need that, then you have to get your own one of that. On the back, there is a hole for some GoPro mounts. And you might be thinking, why would you need GoPro mounts on the back of here? Well, that brings me neatly onto the goggles. You see, the goggles have got a removable screen, which turns it into a monitor, and you can't use glasses with these goggles, unfortunately. However, you can use it as a monitor or screen. You can see there that we've got the jack underneath, and you can use it as a monitor along with the transmitter if you can't use it as a goggle. So they are a box goggle, but something that they have done, which I like, is it folds down. Now, I found that you need to have these clips right in at the end here, otherwise I get eye strain from the monitor. But you see, it moves out. It's quite a big nose gap. However, my nose, I've got a very big nose, it does unfortunately catch on there. We've got a 3-point harness, and the faceplate, it kind of fits me nice. It's just this bit here that rubs on my nose. So as you can see, we've got two SMA antennas up here. With the Tinyhawk 3 having a linear antenna, it might be best to have one sticking up and one across like that. But you can replace the antennas, get like a Bandicoot patch antenna and an Invader antenna from Menace or something like that. The monitor, the resolution is 400 by 800, and it's very good. Sadly, just 16 by 9, and the camera in the Tinyhawk 3 is a 4x3 camera, but it's not a problem because a stretch 4x3 camera is flyable through no problem. It's when the camera is actually 16 by 9 and it's squished to 4x3 that's the problem. But actually, having it like this lets me show you the features very easily. So there is a screen protector over the top, which you'll want to remove, of course. And the on button is just here. Got the Emax logo that shows up, and you can see that we've got a picture. And it has a built-in DVR. It's not the best DVR. The idea of this kit is that you move on from it. In fact, this thing here is so that you can use it when you upgrade to better goggles. Got a 32GB micro SD card in there, which you have to provide yourself. It records in 3-minute segments, which I'm not sure if there is a gap between the recording. There usually is, but basically the DVR is there. If you lose your model or something like that, you can watch the DVR back through this screen to record. It's interesting, you press this R button once and you get this red light up here, and then you press it again. It takes a while and then it starts flashing. You can change the band and channels here, but if you've got the RTF bundle, then it's already tuned. We've got an auto scan, which just don't bother with the auto scan. It's got your channel on it here, so just match it up to there. So race band 1, and you can see we are race band 1 on there as well. There's a menu button, short press of the power button, and I had to put the brightness right up to 80 because it was very dark. It records in VGA. You can do like D1 and higher definition, but I would not recommend doing that because you probably get some dropped frames doing that. VGA is gonna suit you and it won't give you any problems. You see, it says record time off. That just means that it'll keep recording, but it will split the files into 3-minute segments, but you can change that like to 3 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I don't know why you want to do that. Just leave it as off. That's all of the settings on there. It's got a 1300 milliamp hour battery in it. I took it to a flying session, and by the time I'd gone through probably 12 batteries, this was sort of flashing. We've got the battery indicator there, so keep that in mind. It takes ages to charge, again, from this USB here. This, unfortunately, is not video in, video out. It is audio. So we got some magnets on here and inside here. And yeah, that fits nicely. Okay, let's go for a line of sight flight with this guy. See if you can try and ignore the chaos that's going on around me. We've got all sorts going on here tonight. So I'm in acro mode here. Let's check out the power line of sight. Plenty of power for indoors, and probably, you know, a light breeze outdoors as well. Yeah, it's got plenty of power to recover from acro maneuvers. A little bit of a delay on the throttle, but of course, you know, we don't have a huge power to weight with this thing. It's so tiny. What I want to check is whether there's any drift in angle mode, because that's important, especially for a tiny whoop. That's hands off. It is drifting forwards just slightly, but that's acceptable, you know, that's hands off. So no problems with like noise affecting the flight controller. See if I can flick it back into acro. I think the second one is horizon mode. Yeah, it's pretty nice. So let's go and fly it around this crazy place. So I went to fly FPV, and straight away I noticed I was getting quite a bit of multipathing breakup, which isn't unusual in this sports hall because we've got lots of reflective surfaces. However, when I look back at the DVR, I'm getting even more breakup than I was actually seeing through the goggles. And I've had this with the Tinyhawks before, but I got my Fat Shark DVR to record it at the same time, and it wasn't present there. But as you can see, the DVR footage here, it's not really usable for anything other than finding your lost model. Look at these crazy guys over here, doing these car jumps, breaking their expensive cars. I've had to turn the brightness up on the goggles. Really quite dark compared to when I look through the Fat Sharks. It's really clear though, I can't pixel spot. What I am noticing, however, is it pressing down on my nose. I think I'm going to get a line on my nose. It's not terrible because they are not a really heavy goggle. I have a feeling all this multipathing is gonna drop quite a few frames on the recording as well. These gates are fun. Thanks to Fubar Phil for sticking these up for us to play around. Perfect for a whooping in the winter. Feels really smooth to fly in air mode. I think when I did a roll there's a little bit of a wobble on the roll, but you know, for flying indoors, you aren't really going to notice that. Had to put a huge amount of dead zone on this transmitter, which I thought would affect how it flies, but it doesn't. It's really smooth actually. Not as good as, you know, something like a Radio Master, but not bad. What's the voltage doing? 3.5. Be interesting to see what the flight time will be. Currently at 3 minutes. These are not brand new batteries. Yeah, you can all laugh at my skills or lack of through these gates. I am not a racer, but it's certainly fun to fly through them. Oh, we got a car here. Let's see if we can follow him smashing up this ramp. That looks fun, man. Haven't brought my car today either. Wonder if we can get under the little tiny gaps in the bench here. Let's give that a try. Oh yes. Nay bother. Haven't really got much camera angle on here. Voltage just dropped there. So yeah, it looks like dropping quick now actually. Not sure we got much flight time left out of this guy. Yeah, it's flashing. So there we go.